the real star of the show in this family when it comes to hair is this guy. Look at him. I love your face, bud. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and today I'm sharing with you the 2 ways that I do my eyebrows. So I often go in with a powder, which I have demonstrated on this side right here, and then I also often go in with pencils, which I have demonstrated on this side right here. So I just wanted to share with you my 2 non-Instagram techniques that work for me. I obviously have hooded eyes, and I think it's so important to frame up the face and give yourself as much lid space as you can when you have hooded eyes. I like to, accentuate my arch a little bit, but I don't completely change my brow shape. I really just kind of work with what I have, and that's what works on me. But what works on me might not work on you. Like this to me doesn't look like Instagram brows, but maybe it does to you. It all just kind of depends on what you like. You might like to go in with more of like a pomade. If you don't have like a lot of brow hairs, pomades are super helpful. I have enough brow hair where I feel like I can get around it with just a powder and a mechanical pencil, but you do whatever works for you, and I'm gonna kind of go into that in the tutorial today. So if you're interested in seeing 2 ways that I do my eyebrows, go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so full disclosure, I wore this makeup in my favorite lashes for hooded eyes from the drugstore. I just changed out the lip, changed up the shirt, and I just wiped off my brows. So if this looks a little funky up here, that is why, but we're gonna ignore that and get started. So like I said, we're going in with both a pencil and we're going in with a powder as well. I find I like the Anastasia powder best as far as eye pencils. I'm not like extremely picky, but right now I've been loving the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim and then the ColourPop Brow Boss, but you can use whatever you have. If you do prefer a pomade, go in with that. I just haven't mastered the pomade to where I can make it actually look like brush hair, and I don't feel like I need to do that since I do have full enough brows. I also dye my brows. I'm gonna start to brush them up because that's what I always do. I do dye my brows like every 3 or 4 weeks or whenever I remember. I have a video on that. Just check on my channel if you're interested. I still dye my brows. The dye is pretty much out of them right now, but they're fluffy enough to the point where I don't feel like I need to go in and mimic brow hair. But if you did want to mimic brow hair, think about going in with a pomade. Just get the right color. I have the medium brown from Dip Brow, which is what I use. So let's go ahead and do the powder brow first, which I'm gonna do on this eye. I have a favorite brow. You probably have a favorite brow as well. It's this one. The last time I got my eyebrows done, actually, I get them threaded. By the way, this video is not done up brows. I haven't plucked, I haven't done anything. So this is literally like how I make my brows work when they're not in like the best condition in the world, which is typically, I think, how people are working with their brows, unless you work on your brows every day. If you do, I give you a golf clap because no freaking way. It hurts me way too much. But anyway, I do get my brows threaded, and the last time I went in, she like took a lot off of this brow and didn't make it as straight as normal. So I'm trying to kind of regrow this situation here. So this is my favorite brow right now. So I've talked about this a million times. The only eyebrow brush I need is the Anastasia number 12 brush. It is the best. I think it has a spoolie on one end, which is awesome, and then it has a very, very thin tipped brush on the other end. I have bought, I feel like, a million brushes and nothing has compared to this. You guys let me know that Zoeva has a really good one as well, so I'll have to check that out. But I have the medium brow powder, and I'm just gonna go in. I don't go in with the light on the inner portion and the dark on the outer. I just kind of like mix between them the entire time, but I don't go in and start by like filling in the inner corner first. So let me make sure you guys can see me here. The first thing I'll do, I always hold my compact down so I can see everything, and you can see I've got some like brow hairs going on there. So I usually start right about here because I want the most color there, and I pretty much just start going in from there as more product comes off my brush, and I'm really kind of lightly touching my skin. I'm not trying to go in too heavy, and I'm just doing like little strokes, and I'm making a straight line all the way to the inner corner, and that's basically my outline. So that's not going to be very harsh. I'm just dipping back into the color, and then I'm going to just start to fill this as well. I like to outline first and then fill in. So I'm really just kind of working with my natural shape. I'll also go in and do the upper I'm not extending my brow up too high. I'm just trying to shape it. I don't want to add like a bunch of bulk. I just don't think on me it looks very natural when I, like I said, fake brow hairs at all. So I'm just really intensifying the natural shape I already have. And that's completely dependent on you. If you don't, you're gonna have to create one with brow pomade, and there's a lot of people here on YouTube who do that. If you guys haven't seen Babs Beauty, she doesn't have too much brow hair and she's very like light brows. She goes in and like creates her own brow shape. So I'd highly recommend checking her out if you don't watch her and you don't have as much like brow hair as I do. So my natural arch is right there. So I'm not like doing the whole like this. I'm just following what I naturally have. How many times am I gonna say that? And just like to go in with like little tiny brush strokes. And on the outer corner you could see I have some hair growing down there, but I'm not gonna follow that. I'm just gonna follow what I think looks nice basically, and I'm not gonna worry about those brow hairs down there. You could pluck them if you wanted to. I just don't wanna do that. So you could see that didn't take long at all. And then when I have nothing on my brush, I'll even kind of like wipe it on the back of my hand. Then I'll go in and I'll start to flick upwards. I don't like to go all the way into the inner corner. In fact, I shouldn't have even done that first. I should have started out here. I just flick upwards and I'm basically blending that line right into the brow hair so it's not quite so like stark. And I don't want to carry it all the way up either. I like to kind of let my natural brows hang out. They're a little bit longer and a little more sparse there. That's kind of naturally how your brows look. So I kind of like to mimic that. If you liked a more intense look in the kind of head of the brow, go ahead when you let me know. That's what it's called. I kept calling it like the inner part of the brow. You can go ahead and do that. But now I just kind of blend this line so it looks more natural, and then just go in. And any area that's like still too intense, you can kind of target that. Yeah, and I mean that's pretty much it when it comes to brows for me as far as powder. I find when I go in and set it, sometimes I'll need to go in a little bit more. So I've talked about this a million times. My absolute favorite setting powder, this isn't a setting powder, brow gel is the Benefit 24-hour brow set. I think nothing compares to this as far as hold, but as far as like color, if you wanted to add some dimension, the Anastasia Beverly Hills medium brown dip brow gel is amazing. Medium brown, there we go again, calling brown brow and brow brown. Medium brown dip brow gel. I love it. I think it's beautiful, but I don't think that it holds the brows as good as the 24-hour brow set. So if you want to really like wispy brow, go in with the 24-hour brow set. If you wanted a little more pigment, you could go in with this. I wish that this was a little bit smaller. I really do like a small kind of brush head when it comes to working on your brows, but that's okay. So I'm not going to fluff them up, which is usually what I do. I usually fluff them up. I'm not going to do that with this one. I'm just going to kind of work it. See, like you kind of can run into areas like that where you go in with too much of a glob, but it blends out pretty well. And I don't want to go too heavy on those like on the head of the brow. I want to focus more of this on the like outer portion. I just kind of go in and touch over, and then sometimes I'll let this set down and then I'll go in with the 24-hour brow set later. Yeah, I just wish that this brow brush was a little more mini, but you can see it just gives you a little extra oomph to your brows. So the powder has been my preferred method for the last few weeks. It honestly just like varies from day to day, but you can see the difference that that makes. It really helps with framing the face when you do your brows. I think especially if you have hooded eyes, having a nice framed brow that kind of goes up. One of my friends, Julie, if you're watching, hello, always makes fun of me because I do this move. I don't know why I do that. It just like is what my hand naturally does. But when you have something that like comes to an arch like that, really helps. And if you truly didn't have an arch, you could do the whole like the head of the brow starts there, and then you're supposed to go like that through like the iris, and that's where the arch should be, and then the end should be at the end, kind of like that. And that's kind of what my brows naturally do, which is why I follow it. But let's go in and do the other side. So I have found with my hair it looks so much better when I go in with like a taupe kind of pencil. This is the ColourPop Brow Boss in taupe, and then I go in and deepen like the outer area, kind of like halfway all the way to the end with the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim. I happen to have two different brands because I like them both, and I happen to get the ColourPop in taupe and this one in medium brown, but you could do whatever you want. So now I'm gonna take my taupe brow pencil. Again, I'm gonna brush the brows up. I'm warning you right now that this brow is not gonna look as good because it's just how my face works, but I'm gonna go and kind of follow the same rule. I'm gonna underline first, and for some reason with the Brow Boss, I have to like kind of get it warmed up before the pigment starts to show up. So I'm gonna just underline first, and I'm gonna do that all the way to pretty much the tail. And it's not gonna be like too much, it's going to be a lot more natural, but when I go in and deepen it with the Maybelline, you'll see. And again, just small strokes. Don't go in and like, you know, because then you run the risk of making a big mess, and then it's going to be more work to try to fix it. So I'm just forming my outline, like the foundation for a house. So you can see this brow is a lot thicker than this brow as well, and I just kind of work with it. I don't like thicken the other one up a ton because I just, again, don't think it looks natural. I just think that it looks a lot better when you work with what you have, but do whatever works for you. When I try to like beef up the other brow, it looks kind of messy. So now I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim in medium brown, and I'm gonna kind of start, like I said, to work on the tail and then feather everything in towards the taupe color. Something else you could do is, like I used to do this, I'd brush my brows down, and I used to do that on clients a lot when you really want to make it like a little more intense. That way you're not like fighting through the brow hairs. Camera, if you were just focusing on my compact, I swear to God, you are gonna be in trouble. So again, small strokes. And this is kind of where the brow lady like messed up right here. So this is the hardest part because it's not as like straight as the other one. And I'm just gonna kind of flip back and forth between both the taupe. I'm hitting my lashes. Do this before you put on lashes, but I'm just kind of flipping back and forth between taupe and the medium brown color. And I am trying to press ever so lightly when I do this. I don't want to go in too intense. I can see that they're a different color, so I am going to bring the medium brown in a little bit more so they kind of match up with like just kind of hair-like strokes, but I completely lost my train of thought and what I was saying before that, so obviously it wasn't too important. I'll put a note up if it was. I think I may have been saying that the brow pencil looks a little bit more natural typically. That's what I find, but once we get the Anastasia brow gel, dip brow gel in, it'll kind of help it out a little bit. So I do the same thing. Again, if I wanted more of like a fluffy look, I would just go in with the Benefit, but you know, I am gonna walk around with this, so I've got to kind of make these look somewhat even. All right, and then I always just kind of run through after going in. I should have done it before this set down, but after going in with the Anastasia, I like to just, you know, blend out with the spoolie of the Anastasia brush just to make sure everything looks good. I am going to do it. I'm going to take whatever's left on the brush side and just fill that in right there because it needs it, and it wasn't precise enough with the brow pencil. I've just been really liking the brow powder a lot better. You can see on camera, I think it looks a little bit softer. So that is it. I keep it really, really simple with my eyebrows. I don't like to walk around with Instagram brows. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is like considered Instagram brows to you, but there are so many different ways to do this. Like I said, let me just go ahead and grab the Benefit. I mean, it's pretty much set down, but if you wanted more of a fluffy brow, the Benefit really kind of sticks those brow hairs up and they do not budge all day long. See how much better that looks? Like specifically this brow with the pencil looks so much better when it's fluffier. Now I kind of like that brow a little bit more. That's like a boy brow, which is typically what I go for. So yeah, it depends on you, what you like. Like this might be a little bit too intense, but that is all I do, you guys. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know down below. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Instagram as well so you can see more of my furry little friend Theo, and then my French Bulldog George, and then my other cat Stanley. They are all over my Instagram, and I will always let you know on Instagram when I post a new video because sometimes YouTube doesn't let you know. So thanks again for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, let me know if you have questions down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.